It would be these new variable ND sunglasses. No, it's not these.
Have you ever wondered what the most important piece of gear is for some filmmakers and YouTubers? Well, I interviewed some of my creative friends using Riverside, which is actually today's video sponsor, but more on them a little bit later. And I wanted to ask them if they're out traveling, working on a project, or even a YouTube video, excluding camera lens and memory card, what is the one piece of gear that they don't leave home without? Basically, it's the very first thing they put in their bag.
The piece of gear that I don't leave home without, so my default is I was going to say something about filters, because the truth is I bring filters everywhere I go, but you know what's funny is I seldom use them. I've got them in cases. They take up a whole wad in my camera bag, and then I rarely put them on, because to be honest, Armando, what I do these days is mostly camera testing and less shooting than anything, which often I don't want to put the filters on because I don't want to corrupt the test, you know. Right. But to that, the one thing that I never leave, I was realizing just now because I just uploaded a video, is my Ninja 5. There's always a Ninja 5 on my camera for two reasons. One, I mean, I record externally often, but two, I record the screen of the camera often. And so I feel like if I don't have the Ninja 5, I'm going to be wanting to show something, and then I'll be holding my phone up to the back of the camera screen or something, you know? So as boring as it is, the Ninja 5 is probably the thing that I always have and use outside of a camera.
If you live in Toronto, or you know anybody lives in the city, you'll see a lot of people have kind of these side bags, and they're almost like man purses, but I call it my my Toronto man side bag, and it's kind of like a utility belt that Batman would have. And it's not any one thing particularly, it is the bag itself, but there's a bunch of stuff that I keep in it. So when I pop this guy open, I got batteries in here, so I keep spare batteries. That's always in here. I have all my cables in case I mess something up, or I miss something, or an HDMI cable breaks down, which actually happens frequently since I'm running and gunning all the time. I keep snacks in here because people get hungry. Allen key wrenches. I have a whole bunch of stuff. Think of an old retiree's purse and have little candies and stuff in it. That's basically this bag, and it keeps all of those small utility things where you're on set and you're oh shoot, I forgot an HDMI cable or a 3.5mm jack cable. I always keep that bag on me, and it's on my person, so I never forget it, and it's always stuff that I always need. So
the one piece of gear, that's a hard one, because I don't have a fixed bag that's oh, I have my bag that has all my stuff that always goes with me. I'm always repacking, which is part of the problem, because then I sometimes forget that one really important thing. And you know this because you were there. We were in Japan together, and I didn't necessarily totally forget. I actually had one, but I didn't have the right size, and that is a VND filter. VND is so important. I don't like shooting at high shutter speed, high shutter angles, and I don't like that jittery. I want to shoot at 180 degrees. I do want to show you this badass filter that I do have though. So this is one that I brought, and it just didn't fit. But you know how normally with a VND filter, you buy a big one and then you step it down, right? Because they're not cheap. So you buy a big one, you step it down. Well, this one, you don't need to buy the step ring. So this thing has a built-in filter adjustment step down gimmick. You squeeze it, pop it on your lens, let go, and it snaps up, and it fills that's so cool. And this one's actually, it's a combination VND and circular polarizer. So you get both in one. The company's called H&Y. H&Y. I'll send you a link to it.
Probably the DJI mics, man. I take them literally everywhere because I've been on so many shoots where either I forgot a microphone or any, whatever the case may be. Anytime you're making a video, you can have poor video quality, but as long as the audio is A1, people will stick around for it. But if the video is great and the audio sucks, people will not stick around. So I take these with me everywhere.
Yeah, my Portkeys BM5 monitor. I've been through a bunch of different monitors, and I'm on a lot of cowboy shoots. So a lot of the times they get super beat up, scratched up, they get tossed around. So this is the only monitor I've had that no matter what I throw at it, doesn't get scratched up. I don't have to worry about daylight or nighttime or whatever. It's insanely bright. It's all metal. I've dropped it a bunch of times. I've had cowboy buckles be up against it. I've had horse straps hit up against it, and it looks brand new still. So they have tempered glass on there, so I don't know what's on there. So yeah, this thing is literally, it stays and lives in my bag.
Yes, the one piece of gear that I always usually have is something really fun. It's this little guy.
Oh, nice.
Like
What
it's
is
the
that? Is that
size
little-
of a credit card, and it's magnetic to my phone. You could get a phone case, but I just like my green phone, so I have this one. It just snaps like that, and it comes apart into a little tripod.
Okay.
So you can make content really easily.
I want
also
it.
like watching shows, so I'll flip it this way and I'll watch
Brilliant.
like YouTube.
It's easy. It's the Manfrotto RC2 quick release plate. I put it on all my tripods, gimbals, and that way I have one simple quick release system that I quickly attach, right, and detach. I
So
never
you
leave
use
home
that,
without
and
it.
then you use that with your Peak Design, right?
Yeah,
You have a Peak Design clip?
I got a Peak Design clip. I have that. This is the Sony wireless grip. Also, I bring this everywhere I go. The RC2 is hands down the number one thing I bring at all times.
Oh man, I feel like I might have to say an ND filter, but I'm torn between audio. But if I'm outside, I feel like I'm gonna want an ND filter.
Yeah, I definitely never leave without the XLR. But then
Nice.
with this, then I have to do the Sennheiser wireless system, the AVX. So, I mean, is that considered one?
Well, have you heard about this this shotgun microphone?
Yes, I have that right here.
So this works out because if I bring the ND filter and she brings the audio, then technically we can work together for our one.
Smart. I love it. That's great. So Jenna, you're gonna go with the ND, and
Yeah.
Justine, you're going with the microphone.
Something new that I have been carrying, and this is all your fault. The DJI microphones.
Focus is locked.
The DJI microphones. This is ever since you told me, hey, we should try this for this video, and I said, well, I've never used them yet. I don't want to try them yet. This never leaves my bag because I actually had an issue with one of my XLR hot shoes, and this saved the day. So this definitely goes with me absolutely everywhere.
I have a really easy answer to this because there's a lot of things that change often. Cameras change all the time. Lenses, like I don't have the same kit most of the time, but I always have a multi-tool. That is just essential. I use the little one from SmallRig that has a screwdriver and most importantly, that hex key. I've definitely been in those situations where I desperately need to get off an adapter or stick something onto a camera. So always having one of those with me is totally essential.
Now, I just wanted to pop back in here for a second and let you know that all of these calls were done using Riverside, which is a sponsor of this video. So if you're podcasting, doing live streams, or virtual meetings, Riverside is actually the best way to get the highest quality recordings because they actually support 4K. Now, one of the cool things about Riverside is that even if you or your guests have poor internet connection, it doesn't matter because the call itself is being recorded locally and also being uploaded in the background in real time. Now, I actually experienced this when I was talking to Tyler Stallman. He was in Europe, wasn't connected to Wi-Fi, and didn't have the best internet connectivity. Now, this is what I saw on my computer when I was chatting with him live. But then after our call, I downloaded the footage and the quality was exactly the way it would have been if he would have recorded it locally, but instead he didn't have to do that, and also he didn't have to send me the footage after the fact because I already had it and in the highest quality. Speaking of downloading, one of my favorite features of Riverside is that you can export all of your footage, audio tracks into a perfectly synced timeline in Adobe Premiere, which makes it so much faster for editing. In fact, it made editing this video so much easier because I was able to import all of the meetings and everything was properly organized, which was awesome. They also have a built-in editor, so if you don't want to download anything locally, all of the editing is done online and saved in the cloud. And it's super easy to use because it automatically transcribes the whole entire call for you, which means that you can later search for key moments without having to look through all of the footage. Now, Riverside has a ton of features, and in my experience, it's one of the most easiest and intuitive platforms that I've used. Now, I do plan to use it more. In fact, it's kind of inspired me to possibly start a podcast because of its ease of use. Now, if you guys want to try Riverside for yourself, make sure you use my link down below in the description, but more importantly, use my coupon code Armando20 to get a 20% discount on any Riverside individual plan. Aside from your camera, lens, or memory cards, if you're going out filmmaking, if you're doing like, whether it's something like for YouTube or something professionally, what is the one piece of gear that you will not leave home without? You're just like, I gotta take it with me no matter what.
All right, so if it's pro work, which for me is mostly weddings, it's going to be these guys right here. The Anton Bauer Titan based batteries, because I've had it happen lots of times where the batteries start to die at really key moments. Weddings are very much like a one-shot deal. Once it started happening, there's got to be a better solution. And it was these. And I love the weight that they add to the camera. I love the fact that you can get like 2 full weddings out of one battery. You can balance it on a gimbal still because they're not too heavy. For me, they're a really, really important thing to make sure that my battery just does not die.
Okay, Armando, now here's the deal. I think you can actually guess what this item is going to be because I got this item from you in a sense. I purchased it on B&H, but this was per your suggestion. This is the classic.
Yes.
Never, ever, ever leave home without this. This is the Red Toolkit. A lot of companies make toolkits. This is my personal favorite one. It's just got every single tool you're gonna need. Allen tools, screwdriver. You got a flat head so that you can, tighten down whatever you need for your tripod plates or whatever. So I never leave home without this. This is my favorite one. It's the cheapest and the best thing Red has ever made.
So for me, the biggest thing that I really never leave without is my ear tags. A lot of times, if you're on set and you're a DP, most times they're going to have like walkies for you. But from what I've gathered, like being on set a lot of time is that it's so much easier to talk to my camera team with ear tags instead of always having to make sure I'm on the right channel and then trying to press the button. It just takes a little longer. So having ear tags where I can just get to them a lot faster, where if I need them to like switch cams or do a little movement or have my first AC do something, I just think ear tags are like, I have my own. So I'll usually bring those if they're not already like within the equipment.
So at Epic Light Media, we shoot a lot of interviews. A lot of our videos are going to include that along with B-roll and other coverage. But I will not leave the office without this. Do you see this?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
this is the Sennheiser MKH50.
Oh.
Before buying this, we used the Sennheiser MKH416. Then we bought this and I fell in love with it, and this is my mic of choice. So, I mean, it's like, camera's important. The next most important thing is sound. And I think a lot of new filmmakers think, I'm going to spend $5,000 on a camera. I'm going to save up all my money. It's like, no. Spend a lot less than that and buy the best mic you can, because people are buying shotgun mics that are like $150. Right. Oh, they don't sound good. What do I do? It's like, no. Spend $1,500 on a shotgun mic and $1,500 on a camera. Yeah. It's like they're both as important as each other. Just my little message out there, invest in the best audio gear in the world because it's not that expensive in comparison to cameras.
The one piece of gear, personal or a professional production, that literally the first thing that comes across my mind, no matter what, might seem a little bit odd, might seem kind of like, maybe that's a given, I guess, but this is a little production tool pouch that I've kind of put together over the last handful of years. Basically, all this is, it's just a pouch that I know, no matter the situation, whether it's building rigs, whether it's vlogging, whether it's being on a commercial set, it's got all of the tools I need to save me in a pinch. So this is the Think Tank Cable Management 10V2, just a really simple little pouch. I like that it has this clear front panel so I can kind of quickly see at a glance what's inside of there.
Do you have a video on all the stuff that's in this bag?
I actually did do a video breaking down every little piece that I have inside of this little kit. If you guys want to see more in detail each of these little things, definitely go check that out.
For me, I think that kind of going outside of like things that you actually use on the camera and like things that would make your quality better and that kind of stuff, I think the one thing is a capture clip, and specifically I've been really loving the PGY Tech Beetle clip. So some of you might know the Peak Design capture clip that lots of people have. This is kind of an updated version of that, and it goes on my backpack, so it goes on the strap of your backpack, and then you attach their plate to the bottom and you clip this in, and then it hangs from my backpack strap. And as someone who, when I'm out shooting, I'm constantly moving around, I'm setting up lots of shots, and I'm by myself, it's so nice to be able to just hang my camera from my strap rather than having to like put it back in the bag and then I move to the next location, then I pull it back out and I set it back up. It's like so quick to have it right on the bag. And one of the nice things about this one is that unlike some of the other options where you kind of have to screw it in and out, this one just has like a little lever, but it's got a little lever so you can really quickly take it on and off of your bag without having to deal with any kind of screws or Allen keys or anything like that. So as someone who switches bags a lot, because I'm reviewing all sorts of different bags and stuff, it's easy to take on, off, whatever you want.
It seems like a bit of an easy answer, but the truth is it's my iPhone. I film so much on this, I take so many photos on this, and sometimes they make the final edit, and sometimes it's just great behind the scenes content that I can repurpose later or reference in a future review or update. So just a cell phone with a good enough camera, so a phone in the last 4 years, I think is an invaluable purchase. If your phone has a crappy camera, upgrade that before you, go from the A7S III to the A7S IV or something like that.
These new variable ND sunglasses. no, it's not these. So it would be this Sanken Cos 11D. Love it.
Nice.
It's because either I'm being filmed by Locke or somebody else, or I'm filming myself. I prefer lav mics just because it's got that rejects the ambient sound a lot better than say using one of these. So yeah, Sanken Cos. Why do I use that? It's got quite. The mids and highs are quite accentuated, so you can stuff it down your top, and because it's quite compact, a nice compact profile.
I feel like these are underrated, and I do a lot of like gimbal to sticks transition. So when I'm taking the camera off the gimbal, obviously you got to take the monitor off the gimbal, as well as taking like the wireless HDMI or something like that. And I use these. These are the Condor Blue Mini quick release plates, and I can give you a little demonstration here. I have this on the gimbal right now, and you can just quickly pop that off. And then I don't have my Komodo with me, but you might have to edit this part because I realized I didn't have this on here.
It's all good, dude.
But I'll just show you what it's like to swap a monitor over to like a
I'm not going to edit this out. I'm going to leave it here
all
for
right.
the awkwardness.
I'm doing it quick. I'm doing it on the fly. So you would take the monitor off your gimbal, and then you can just drop it right on the camera and lock it down. And then I would do the same thing to a wireless transmitter or something like that. And these are like super key if you want to like quickly switch over, because time is money on set,
Honestly, it's filters. I am obsessed with filters. It doesn't matter what system I'm on. I have a whole case full of filters here. Even for my drones, I have filters. And the key for me is also these little step-up rings. So it allows me to buy like a single filter and then make it work on every single lens that I work with. So it doesn't matter what I'm shooting. I always have filters. They're kind of my go-to thing.
The thing that I always have with me is just like a regular travel tripod. And I know that sounds super boring, but I always find that I need a specific angle, and I don't want to bring a big tripod with a big fluid head on it. And the one that I use is actually just something from Amazon. Like obviously the best of the best is going to be like the Peak Design carbon fiber, but the one that I have is probably like $50 off Amazon, and it does the job just well. As far as composing shots, getting the stuff that I need for YouTube, that's like the one for me every time.
I think, this isn't the coolest thing ever, but you always bring your keys, right? You have to bring your keys everywhere you go. And sometimes you need that one tool. And so the thing I bring everywhere is this tiny little multi-tool. So it has a Phillips, a flathead, it has 6 hex keys, and it comes in handy way more often than you would think. I have a couple other multi-tools that I bring in my usual kit, but this is good for almost all applications.
So I kind of wanted to save my answer for last. So the piece of gear that I take with me, it doesn't matter if I'm doing something professional for YouTube, is this guy. It's the Next 2D. Now, I don't think that they sell this particular model anymore, but basically what this is, I know they have something similar, is where I can download or dump all of my footage onto this drive. So this accepts CF Express, SD cards, micro SD. You can plug in like SSDs and stuff like that, or external drives. And I really like this because no matter what I'm doing, if somebody's shooting BTS or if somebody just has a camera and I want to grab that footage, or even documents and files, I'm able to use this, and has always come in clutch. So this is one of the very first things I put in the bag. So hopefully these were useful to you. I found some really good ones that I kind of want to implement myself. There's a lot of great choices out there, but I guess it really depends on what you're doing. So hopefully this video was helpful. Now I want to once again thank Riverside for sponsoring this video, as I truly enjoyed using their platform. Now if you're looking for a high quality remote conferencing service, definitely check them out and use my link down below in the description with my coupon code Armando20 to get 20% off today. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. My name is Armando. Thanks again for watching, and you will catch me in the next one. Adios.